It is Thursday afternoon of what has been a very strange and slow week. I started off Monday by adjusting the latch on the hood so it would open and close properly. And having successfully done that, I thought, well, maybe I'll do one of the doors. So I started on the passenger door, the driver's door. It's basically taken the rest of the week. There are so many components that go into a door. It's just mind-boggling. Harder still is the fact that when I got the car, I didn't have any I didn't have any sills, I didn't have any outer sills, I didn't have any weather stripping, I did, on and on and on and on. So I didn't quite know how the puzzle went together. So it's been a week of learning, and this is where I am now. I have one door put together with all the proper stuff, and the other door just waiting to get going. So with that, I thought I would make a video to show the video I wish I could have seen before I started all this. So with that, let me start by showing you what I've done, what's complete on the driver's side. Sorry, you'll have to ignore the mess of tools that are on the floorboards, but yeah. So this is the inside of the door. On the B pillar, I've got this in place. There's a aluminum plate underneath this that acts as a spacer to create the right space between here and the latch. This aluminum plate is in place. It has screws all up and down it, and then a black piping that goes around the outside. Then I have the Furflex molding. There's a clip here that I'm missing. I didn't order it yet. So there'll be a clip that goes on that. And that goes down to the bottom. So down here we have a plate on the outside. And it has screws. They came pre-drilled. So I think... No, those didn't. It's this plate that came pre-drilled. So these have screws that screw into the outer sill. Again, the Furflex weather stripping, and that clips right onto the top of this. The top of this plate has a lip on it. It gets pushed down on top of that. This wraps over the Furflex, so you don't kick it off when you're getting in and out of the car, that's very nice. And then it wraps all the way around up the A pillar. On the A pillar, we have the there you go. On the A pillar, we have the door holder. I don't know what it's called. It's very interesting. There's basically a bolt up there that gets tightened when the door is open. This is like a wrench, and so when it opens, it tightens it and it locks it in place, and then when you close it, it loosens it and lets it move in. Very simple but effective. You can see down here I don't have all the bolts tightened. When I ordered all new bolts, the old ones appear to be a big, I think a number 3 Phillips. The new ones are a what are they called? PZ number 4, which is Posi-Drive number 4 or something like that. The hardware store doesn't have the right screwdriver for it, the screwdriver bit, and trying to get them tightened down enough wasn't working. So they're not done yet, but Anyway, that's still on the to-do list. The next thing is this funny weather stripping thing. Up here, this is why I have the windshield off, because I just put this in this morning. Yeah, it's this funny weather stripping up at the top, and it has this flap that flips over, and this gets cut off and wrapped around, and I just pop riveted it in place. Next, I have the upholstery on the door. It went pretty smooth. It was kind of hard to get the inside panels, these in here, to get them actually in place. Once I did, it was pretty easy though. Then the screws in the middle here, they get screwed into wood, so that was pretty simple. I polished up the top rail all along here. It's aluminum. I had ordered a new piece for the side curtain here, and the escutcheon, is that the right word? And the handle over here are new. Putting that handle on was insanely complicated. I hope to show you when I do the other door how I managed it. But wow, I think because the panel's slightly thicker than the original one, it doesn't want to line up correctly, and was really difficult to get on there. The outer panel, it has along the bottom here, it has some vinyl, extra vinyl that wraps around inside. My panels don't have that. I don't know if it's originally that way or not, but I need to tack it down. You can see it's still sticking up a bit over here. Yeah, finding the screw holes on the panel, where do I put the screws? Especially because I replaced a bunch of steel down in the bottom of this. I didn't have the actual holes, or when there were holes, there were multiple holes because it had been taken off and put on incorrectly in the past. So I looked up in the book where the holes go, in one of my books, and having 5 across the bottom seemed to be the most common, so that's what I went with, and I just spaced them out as best I could. Okay, it took a ruler and stuff to get them straight and make them nice. So the next thing I want to do is show you around the door frame before I put all of this stuff on the other side, so you can get an idea of where it was and what goes where. Here we are over on the passenger door. I haven't started putting stuff in yet because I haven't gotten it properly lined up. It's closer, but it's still not 100%. I'm not happy with it yet. What you'll see I have done, it looks like there's lipstick smeared all around it. All around here is red paint. If you remember, I don't know when I pulled the doors off, there was red paint on there, and that was so if you catch a glimpse inside there, you don't see this bright white line. You see red like the rest of the interior. I do have one of the interior panels in place, but I didn't get the top one put in yet. But you can see the part where it will get screwed into. Here's some of the components that go in. This is the side, the kick plate, and you'll see it has this top edge here, which will hold the Furflex trim. This is the Furflex. It's furry for sure. It has this rubber weather seal on it. This piece goes around the top of the door. I haven't cleaned it up yet, so it's still kind of icky. Icky, that's a good word. This is the piece that goes along the floor along here. The protective tape gets off and it's all shiny, and that protects the Furflex. Other stuff that goes in here. there's the rubber piece that goes in here. It has these holes along here and some on here, and those they get these brads that are split, and a washer that holds it in place. Up here you can see there's holes here and here, and one here. These hold one of these fasteners for the tonneau cover. These appear, they're either original ones or it's been moved at some point, but there I've got two options there. And then there's a hole back here to hold down the end of the dashboard. So here's the funny little rubber piece that goes in here. Just looking at it, it's really hard to figure out what the heck's going on. It's not obvious how it goes in. So let me show you. It's pretty simple. I want you to know that this flap goes over here. With that in place, and then this would be a lot easier without the door. So I would recommend next time to do this before you put the door on. So that goes on there, that goes on there. You have to get it lined up correctly. And then you can use a punch to find where the holes are and put the pins through that. I'll do that so it's held in place, and then I'll show you how to trim back the this part up front, because these always come long and then you have to trim them up in a special way. Alright, so to get this to lay down right, basically what we're going to do is cut this top flap, flush it with the dashboard all the way to here, and then cut the insides out of it. If that makes any sense. Something like that. So now this can be pulled around like this, and see there's already a hole here. We'll attach that there. Now with that extra cut here, this can just fold under itself and get tacked in place. Then you have a nice clean edge. Now with that in place on both sides, I can put the dash back on. You probably could have done this with the dash in place, as long as you undo the screws that are on the side of the dash, so you can tuck that under. I had to take the dash off to find, there's a fastener right in the middle for the tonneau cover that I hadn't found before, so I had to find where that was, so I had to take the dash off anyway. So while it was off, I did this. So I'm going forward with putting all the accessories on the passenger door, even though it's not entirely properly aligned right now, because it doesn't get in the way of adjusting the alignment. And you know, I keep kicking that down the street. So before I put this card in, this panel, one of the things I want to do is cut the extra foam out of here, This is where the door handle protrudes in through, and as I found with the other one, you need to get as much clearance as you can, so removing the foam certainly helps to push the escutcheon in place, and then you can push the handle in place, and then with any luck you can get the pin into the handle. I'll be showing you all that soon. Top piece here gets glued in place. So the door handle goes on here. Well, first you get this escutcheon. That's a fun word to say. And it has a spring in it. So the escutcheon goes on, then the door handle goes on, and then you have this little tiny pin. The pin goes through here to hold it all in place. The escutcheon holds the pin in place. Now the hard thing to do is to get it all squished together enough to get the pin to line up with the hole in this. From what I've read online, this panel is slightly thicker than the original one, and that might be causing some of the problems. That's why we removed the foam that's around here earlier, so it'll squish down further. The hole is going this way. So what I had to do on the previous one, the pin is rounded off on one end, and that's to allow it to try to find the hole. What I had to do was shave it off this way, or well, it doesn't matter, at an angle to get a starting point. And once it gets started, tapping the pin in place helps push it over. So we're gonna just put it on there and see how far off it is, and what we'll need to do to get it in place. I think here you can see the kind of tolerances we're working with. I have it on there with an ice pick. I think it used to be my grandmother's ice pick. Anyway, I know she had one like it. On the other one I broke the tip off, so I had to resharpen it. But it's holding it in place until I can get the pin started. But you can see it's just super tight tolerances, and pushing the handle on as hard as you can helps. I've also had to carve out some of the wood from the panel to make as much space as I can. I also cut the vinyl back so it's not pushing against the inside part of the escutcheon, giving it that extra 1/2 millimeter, because that's how tight this is. I'm going to take the pin and take it over to the vise and sharpen it sideways, so I can get that side that's longer into the pin, into the hole, and use it to push the rest of the way in. If you don't have one of these pins, I ordered them, but it's just a piece of steel. It's 13 centimeters long, half-inch long, and 3 millimeters thick. You can use your finishing nails, or whatever you have that's that size, if you don't want to order one. So that's the kind of profile we want. Sharp on one side, help force it in there like a wedge. Alright, now I'm going to do the screws on the bottom of the door. I want to make sure they're nice and lined up, so I'm going to start off with some tape. Put the tape across there, approximately where the screws are going to go, and then I can draw a pencil mark on the tape more precisely. This keeps the well, you can see the pencil mark better than if it was on the panel, and it's cleaner. Now we're going to put a mark right in the middle. I was going to put a mark 5 centimeters in on each side. That's where the first screw is going to be. Now, we need the distance between these two, divide in half. So next, the trim panel goes in place. Side curtains, there's two pieces of hardware. One is this hole, this chrome hole, that's the only thing I can think of, that goes in here. The side curtain has a bolt that slides through there and a chrome wing nut on the bottom. And then over here, when I find where the holes are, is this this chrome mounting bolt gets placed. There, just like that. There's one piece missing. There's a chrome plate thing that goes around there. I have to order it. I got some great comments last week, after last week's video. I wanted to address some of them. Got a great comment from Major Scope. He always has, I assume it's he, always has really great comments and very, very vast knowledge of Heeley's. One of the things he pointed out was that the gear lever boot was upside down. So I flipped it over, as you can see here. It intuitively, that looks upside down, but I did some research, looked at pictures from that great book I have, and in fact, he was absolutely correct. This is how it should be, so that's how it's going to stay. He also pointed out that there's a way under the flange on the transmission tunnel, there should be strip of vinyl wrapped around there. And yeah, there should be. After I got it in place, I saw that what I thought the carpet would cover up, there's actually a little bit that does stick out. So I'll have to peel that back and stick some vinyl in there. The other thing, he was talking about the vinyl around here, that if you heat it up with a hairdryer, you can get it on in one piece without any seams. During my second attempt, I know it was in time lapse, but I had actually tried using my heat gun to heat up the vinyl, and it did help it stretch, but it wasn't enough to get it as I wanted it. So I still ended up with darts. But you know, when you do yours, perhaps you could try that to get it on there. Also had a great comment from Skip Sanders saying that the bracket that I have been trying to find a home for is a heater support. So I've been looking around the heater. I'm not exactly sure where. If Skip, if you could elaborate on that a little bit, maybe a part number would be useful. But I can't find it still. If you like this video, click the like button below. If you want to come along on the ride as we complete this project, click the subscribe button. If you want to make sure Google reminds you every time there's a new video, click the alarm bell. Your support is very much appreciated.